Hello again, one and all. Get ready to travel the world because it's time once again to cruise away here on Gecko. It's Derek and Joe here to fill the next 30 minutes with the most incredible food for thought for your next holiday break.
That's right. And in this show, we're cruising and staying all over Northern Europe. Whether you're looking for something later this year, next year, or even 2026, we've got you covered with a wonderful variety today.
Yes, for 2026, we're headed over to London for a stay, followed by a royal appointment with Cunard's Queen Victoria in search of the world-famous Northern Lights. Another dream away for later this year takes us over to the canals and tulips of Amsterdam for a stay, followed by laid-back luxury cruising with Holland America Line up to an intensive North Cape adventure. First though, let's get you on an adventure for next year, heading to Svalbard and the North Cape on an all-inclusive MSC cruise. Now our 19-night trip starts on the 3rd of August next year and flies us first to Hamburg in Germany. Now we've got 3 nights here in a hotel, and we've also included a day ticket on the hop-on, hop-off bus tour of the city, which picks up all the major kind of highlights of the city.
Exactly. You've got, of course, your audio guide on board, 11 different languages. So you'll get to see the harbour and magnificent villas along the Ulster Lakes, explore the Reeperbahn, the city's infamous red light district, very entertaining, visit the famous historical warehouse complex and the new Hafen City. So it's a really nice guided tour, that one, that's included as well. And you can get 20 stops out of that trip. So, you know, on and off the entire day, at your leisure, whilst exploring everything else that Hamburg has to offer, as the largest port city in Europe, certainly in Germany. Loads of beautiful bridges, gorgeous architecture, great shopping, delicious Wurst and pretzels and beer. Oh
yes, it is a lovely, lovely city for just enjoying the wonderful ambience of it. I can't promise fireworks every night, but followed by your 3 nights in Hamburg, it's time to cruise, and we're on board MSC Preziosa, and she is beautiful. The MSC ships, of course, are amazing. They are an Italian cruise line, and they welcome visitors from literally around Europe and around the world because they offer a very, very high value offering in terms of what happens on board, but you'll love the service and you'll love the sophistication as well, and this wonderful kind of melting pot of very smart and great low-key casual fun as well, mixed in together beautifully. Yeah,
I love that. And it's got, obviously it's a European cruise line, or Italian, so you'll find you'll get to meet people from all over Europe and certainly all over the world, and the international flair of the cuisine with a particular focus on delicious homemade Italian pasta and pizza and bread, because they make everything on board, and gelato, it's all made from scratch, and chocolate.
Handmade chocolates on board, they're a real treat.
Oh, they're so good, aren't they?
Very, very good.
Yeah, this is going to be incredible. And like you said, really value-packed cruising, MSC. They really do so many things that other cruise lines do, but they do it at such a tempting price point, and you're going to see that later on. Entertainment, we've got the F1 simulator there for you, bowling, loads of themed play for the kids and teens as well if you're traveling with the family. We are cruising out of Hamburg, and a day at sea will see us into fabulous Bergen in Norway. This colourful and vibrant and friendly city will really have you enthralled. Around every corner there's something to explore, and being there in late summer is the perfect time to explore this part of Europe, definitely. Then we're on into Molde. Very interesting port, this one. Molde offers you, of course, a very close proximity to the Northern Cape, and you've got, again, that sparkling fjord, which is something to, a sight to see. Next up, we are into Longyearbyen, Svalbard. Now, this is a place to really kayak and see some of the beautiful fjords. Whilst in summertime, it's going to be fresh and green and gorgeous, and so many photo opportunities for sure. Honningsvåg is next, and Honningsvåg is your gateway to Norway's Northern Cape. It's the northernmost point, and you're going to have an overnight on board to explore even more and see that phenomenon of 24-hour sun essentially when you're in this part of the world at this time of the year, which is quite fascinating. You kind of don't get tired, which is weird. And Hammerfest is next on the itinerary for you. This is at the southernmost point of the Struve geodetic arc. You have got lots of places to explore that will tell you about the local culture, including the Royal and Ancient Polar Bear Society. You'll learn more about that when you're there. The Polaria Aquarium is pretty incredible. And the imposing Arctic Cathedral, that is a must-see against these beautiful mountains. I mean, wow. That is picturesque, isn't it? Tromsø, of course, then Leiknes is next for you. This is where you can enjoy the Svolvær ice bar. I think you've got to do it whilst you're in the Northern Cape, haven't you? You've got to go to an ice bar at some point. There's also the Nutsfjord fishing village, not too far away. But do book excursions when you're on this trip. Stavanger's next, and it's Norway's 4th largest city at the mouth of the Gansfjord. You've got the old port to enjoy, where you can learn all about Vikings sailing out on voyages and conquests long ago. Which is fascinating. A day at sea sees us back into Hamburg, where you'll disembark and we'll fly you back to Sydney.
And you know what you're seeing on the right hand side there in that picture is that wonderful light show in the sky, the Aurora Borealis, and that can pop up at any time of the year. There are sweet spots during the year, and our cruise isn't necessarily one of those sweet spots, but it can pop up at the strangest of times, this wonderful light show of the Aurora Borealis. So you never know, so always have that camera handy. And as Joe says, you have this kind of, we're in the land of the midnight sun here, so you're kind of like, hang on a second, I'm sure it's like 11 p.m. and doesn't appear to be getting that dark here, and you get the most amazing long-lived sunsets as well. So for you, this is going to be a wonderful, lovely end of winter getaway off to Northern Europe. We include the flight, of course, from Sydney over to Hamburg in Germany. You've got your 3-night stay there, including that full-day hop-on, hop-off tour bus ticket, which is brilliant, with 20 different stops around the city. So plenty of ways and time to explore as well. And then, of course, you've got your all-inclusive cruise with MSC Cruises. Now, that has your gratuities included, so your tips, service charges, and it has an Easy Plus drinks package as well, which is very, very good indeed. And you are going to be on board the Preciosa for 14 nights, heading through the picturesque fjords of Norway and then up to Svalbard and the North Cape. Beautiful, wonderful vantage points for the biggest skies, they say, in the world, and it's perfectly placed to enjoy those long days in Norway as well. Of course, that cruise ends back in Hamburg, and that's where we fly back to Sydney. Now, we can put a low deposit down on this today, just $500 each today, and the price for the entire package. And I think this is really nice because there are a lot of regions of the world that are tried and tested favourites to go to, and a lot of people will go to. You're kind of going off the beaten track a little bit here, but to a part of the world that is just so fascinating. There's so much to discover, and it's a nice time of year to do it as well, which is wonderful. Right, let's look at upgrades on board the ship itself on MSC Preciosa. It's going to be an amazing time on board. As I mentioned before, your tips and your gratuities, your service charges, they're all included already to the deal. And you've got what's called the Easy Plus drinks package as well. That is drinks up to the value of €9 because you spend in euros on board. If you want to upgrade that to the slightly higher drinks package, which has more drinks included, called the Premium Extra Drinks package, just talk to the team when you book and we can certainly arrange that for you. No problem whatsoever. You've got your prices on the screen as well for your ocean view, for your balcony, and for what's called the Yacht Club Suite. Now, the Yacht Club is kind of a ship within a ship. It's like your own private area. It's like turning left to business class on board a cruise ship, with your own dining area, your own pool deck, fantastic accommodation at the best vantage points on the ship, and so much more. So if you want to know more about that, again, you can look at it on our website at cruiseaway.com.au or talk to our team right now on 1300 408 764. Remember, that's a toll-free telephone line. And again, if you wanted to spend longer in Hamburg on that trip, or indeed go on to from Hamburg somewhere else before you fly back to Sydney, talk to the team. We can absolutely make it happen.
Yes, we can. Now we're staying with the North Cape for our next Dream Away in Northern Europe, this time taking in Scotland too on our cruise with Holland America Line. Now this one's 19 nights starting on the 20th of August this year. And the adventure begins by flying from Sydney to amazing Amsterdam in the Netherlands. It's sunny summer over in Holland, so let's stay and enjoy Amsterdam's amazing offerings by enjoying for 3 nights a fabulous hotel. Now we do put you in a great central location with our hotel stays, so don't worry, you'll be in the thick of things. Whether you're wanting to grab a bike and do it like the locals do, it's nice and flat in Holland, so you can cycle around easily, and there's tons of bike paths too. Or you want to stroll around the canals and visit some famous sites such as the Anne Frank House, such as the incredible Monet Museum, the Van Gogh Museum as well. There's much to see and much to enjoy whilst you are in fabulous Amsterdam, not to mention the incredible cheese and that you'll have there too. Then it's time for us to join the new Statendam, keeping things Dutch. Dutch originally cruise line, it's now Dutch American, but you'll know by the name it's spelled N-I-E. U-W. U. I forgot the U. Yeah. Exactly. That's not a spelling error, I promise. There's a reason for it. Now, the new Statendam is a gorgeous vessel, and she was only launched a few years ago. She's sister to the Koningsdam, and she's actually the second in a brand new class for Holland America Line, which is Pinnacle class. So they are still beautifully intimate ships across the fleet. The largest, ship you'll have with Holland America Line will still only be 2,600 guests, and this is pretty much it. So that's the nice thing about it. It's much more intimate cruising. It's low key. It's relaxed. Yet at the same time, you've still got incredible luxury in terms of your food, your staterooms. They're beautiful. And if you choose to upgrade to suite, you have the amazing Neptune Lounge. The Neptune Lounge actually has both your own concierge. You have refreshments. You have your coffee machine in there. You've got canapes. You've got, everything you want and need to relax when you're going to get that extra special, maybe once in a lifetime experience of having a suite. And I'd highly recommend it because the suites are just amazing, which Derek will tell you more about the prices later on. But whether you're in a suite or not, there's something amazing to do every single day when you're on the cruise, whether you're at sea or whether you are in port. Talking of in port, the explorations team will talk you through every excursion available in the port. They'll talk you through the timings, the options, the prices, so you can plan your time and money in port even before you've set foot on dry land. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's so easy, isn't it? Because I think sometimes, when you're going to unfamiliar places, you feel like, oh, it's like being back at school again. I need to do my homework before I go. And you really don't, because as Joe says, there's oodles of information on your interactive TV in your stateroom, in live presentations, in excursion guides. The information is coming at you left, right and centre, which is really, really good. And it means then you can just enjoy it.
Yeah, and you just saw dive in there. Superb burgers with the brioche buns.
Did look good.
They have this triple cooked chip on Holland America Line that is just hot chips, which are just to die for. Honestly, they're so good. Right, Alison, Norway is beckoning us first. What a lovely port of call to start with. Some tours I'd recommend here are the best of Romsdal and the Troll Path, or the islands of Giske and Gudøy. They're the two ones I'd recommend. They come like 5-star rated as well. Then we have Trondheim, a lovely old city in Trondheim actually, with buildings dating back hundreds of years. If you want to explore everything, take a trolley ride. It'll take you around all the different districts and give you a nice overview. And you might want to head to the Nidaros Cathedral while you're there. Then we're on into Honningsvart. This is the northernmost point in Europe. You can do something called the King Crab Safari. They're known for their delicious seafood and the crab fishing there. You might want to head to the gallery east of the sun or do some bird watching. Tromsø's up next. This is beautiful. If you can, ride the scenic cable car to the summit of Mount Stornteinen for dramatic views. Wow. I mean, you're going to have spectacular pictures from this trip. Everyone will be jealous when you get home, for sure. Then we have fabulous Leknes. Now, this is known for the Loftone Island. And as you mentioned, Derek, you might see the phenomena of Northern Lights in the summer. It has been seen before, so you never know when you're there. We're in Telerik in Scotland next, which is lovely. It's in the Shetland Islands. You can go and see the Shetland ponies while you're there. They have a little sanctuary. It's very fun.
So cute.
They are so cute. Look at the beaches too. You'd never think about Scotland having amazing beaches, but it does.
Yeah,
and you're
gorgeous.
there in summer. And then we're into Portree, and this is your port for, this is Isle of Skye actually, another little tiny archipelago up in Scotland. People are so friendly up in this part of the world. You can head to see a traditional Scottish castle, the Dunvegan Castle. Dunvegan! There we go. Invergordon's next for you. And this is your port for visiting Glasgow, but you can also go to the Dalmore Distillery while you're there and learn about Scottish whisky. I know a lot of you want to do that. Maybe see another castle. Why not? You are in this part of the world. We're on into Edinburgh. Oh, well, I tell you what, you have to go to the Royal Mile there, see Edinburgh Castle for sure. They're absolute must-sees. There's the Palace of Holyrood as well. You can see the Royal Yacht Britannia. Book a sightseeing tour of the whole city is my recommendation. Now we're back into the port for Amsterdam, where we will fly you back to Sydney. If you do want to tack on a little bit of extra time to your stay, because you're so close to, you're less than an hour's flight to London, for example, you might want to do that while you're there for sure.
Well, yeah, and Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam is an international hub, so you can pretty much fly where the dickens you like from there. Do you know, I can smell whiskey in the air on this cruise. It's wonderful. I did have
a wee dram before I came on air, is that why?
Well, yeah.
I didn't really.
That's maybe why. That's maybe why. So trolls and whiskey are takeaways from this one, and so much more. And this is a trip to absolutely seize now while you can before it sells out, because it's for this August, so it's not that far away at all, and it's very, very popular already. The price that we've got for you includes the flight from Sydney over to Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam. You've got 3 nights in a hotel in Amsterdam, right in the centre, before we cruise away to Norway, the North Cape, the Shetland Islands and Scotland, back to Amsterdam, and we've included the transfer from the end of the cruise to the airport at Schiphol for the flight back to Sydney. Oh my word, right, yeah, this is why this is going to sell out so ridiculously quickly. Oh my crikey, I'm surprised that isn't sold out already, actually, to be honest with you. I would think it would be our last sort of few opportunities to take that, because you might think, you know, August, okay, well, that's a little while away. In the cruising world, it really isn't. When people are booking their cruises into the end of 2026, that's how organised people like to be. And remember, we've always got the best deals for you, but there will not be many places on this trip. It is incredible. When you think of what's included as well, the cruise itinerary itself, going in and out of Amsterdam. I mean, Holland is wonderful. As Joe mentioned before, it's as flat as a pancake, so very easy to get around. Hire a bike, you know, go and take a trip on the canals, just wander around. And actually, while you're in Amsterdam, maybe you'll also want to go and visit Rotterdam or The Hague or somewhere else on the coast. They have the most amazing beaches in Holland as well. And the itinerary on the cruise here, honestly, I could talk about this for the whole show, but let's look at upgrades in terms of the cruise itself. Of course, we are cruising on the new Staten Dam with Holland America on this one, so there are your upgrades. Joe mentioned before, of course, you know, the perks of having a suite and having champagne brought to you, and you know, it would be wonderful, and having your own Neptune lounge to enjoy, and just, you know, the spoils that not everyone has. But you know what, it's a great offer, and it will sell out fast because this is coming up in August. And people are very much these days, when it comes to cruise holidays and packages like these, they're planning in advance right now. That's where the deals are. It used to be the case that in cruise it was always a last minute deal that got you the best price, and that's turned on its head over the last sort of 5-10 years in terms of the further out you're booking now, the better value you're getting, because you're insuring yourself against any price rises there will be in the world as a whole. I mean, you know, the price of everything just runs away really quickly. Lock in great deals now and they stand still.
Yeah, they do. That's the way to do it.
Yep.
Have them lined up, right? Like dominoes.
Yes.
There's that cruise, then that cruise, and that cruise.
That light at the end of the tunnel. We all need it.
Absolutely. We have a final offer for you in this show. It's for March in 2026. See?
Talking of planning.
Ahead, exactly. Heads up to the north of Norway at the perfect time to see the Northern Lights come out and play. Now this time we cruise in grand style with, wait for it.
Oh, sit up straight. Cunard.
Cunard, darling. So
we're voyaging, we're not cruising anymore.
Yes, we are, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, sir. We have to team up with the royalty of the cruise industry, and also the Royal City of London actually is going to be where you'll be staying too. So we start our 18 nights by flying from Sydney to London for a 3-night hotel stay in the UK's capital.
Wonderful.
It's London town, one of the most famous capital cities on the planet. My goodness. London is exciting. It is vibrant. It is varied. You have so many incredible areas to enjoy. St Paul's Cathedral, the London Eye right there that we just saw, Buckingham Palace, changing of the guards, Windsor Castle's a short train journey away. Lots of great hustling and bustling in the markets too. You've got Carnaby Street, you've got Covent Garden's got a great market. You can head on over to Camden as well. You know, take a little stroll around South Bank. They have lots of amazing galleries, and a lot of the galleries, by the way, and museums in London are completely free to enter, which is great. Then it's time for us to cruise. We're doing it in true classic and traditional style on Cunard. That's right. You're going to be on board for 13 fabulous nights on the elegant and esteemed Queen Victoria. Oh boy, she is a beautiful vessel. I've been fortunate enough to spend several months on board the Queen Victoria in the past as a guest lecturer, and I absolutely loved it. Had a great experience. From the beautiful traditional polished wood beams through to a lovely classic bookshop and you know, striped deck chairs out on deck. You really do feel like you've stepped back in time, but in a very good way, because you've still got all your favourite things that do denote modern cruising, such as the interactive technology and finding your way around so easily on board, such as, you know, some of the top cuisine from some of the best chefs in the world. Look at these spaces too. You know, the glasswork's beautiful.
The other thing about Cunard, of course, is kind of it feels like there's a massive exclusivity with Cunard because they don't bring out 3 ships a year.
No.
They bring out 1 ship every 10 years sometimes. Right. You know, they're just launching, of course, Queen Anne this year, and that's the first launch in a decade. So they've still got that very wonderful exclusivity feel about them. It feels like an aspiration that you are heading towards one of these ships, and you're doing it in comfortable style as well. You're on board for 13 nights out of Southampton. Yes,
our first port is beautiful Andelsnes in Norway, nestled between the deep blue Romsfjord and stunning mountain scenery, and you can see it right there in the image. Wow, you're going to see some spectacular vistas and landscapes during this adventure. Next up, after a day at sea, we're in Tromsø, Norway. We have an overnight on board, which is great. Now, we are there at the time of year, which hence the name of the cruise, Hunting for the Northern Lights. You might get to see this amazing phenomena, this natural phenomena where coloured lights spread across the sky. So that's why we're staying a little bit longer in port. Then we have 2 nights in Narvik. Now, whilst you're there, of course, you'll want to see everything these ports have to offer, as well as hunting for those northern lights. The Polar Park is the world's northernmost zoo. You can visit that in Narvik, and you can see really kind of exotic animals like the wolf, the lynx, the bear, reindeer, moose, Arctic fox. This is what we're looking out for, this incredible natural phenomenon, the Aurora Borealis, the northern lights. And you're going to have the optimum opportunity because you'll stay not just 1 night but several in some of the top northern light hotspots and potential viewing destinations.
So beautiful, isn't it? And of course, the reason why this is the hotspot of the world is because it has the clearest skies and the best view up to the north as well, with least light pollution. Then we carry on around Norway into Ålesund.
Yes, we do. Some tours you might want to enjoy here include the Best of Romsdal and the Troll Pass. You can learn all about the trolls. I've mentioned it again because I think it's going to be fun. And then we're into Stavanger, and this one is a great place to visit the fjords of Lysefjord, and of course they're going to be nice and sort of icy at this time of year still potentially, but you'll also see the springtime blooms coming out, so it'll be a lovely transitional period where you're visiting this part of the world. We're back into Southampton, where you'll disembark for a flight back to Sydney. It's all included for you as well.
Yeah, which is wonderful. Do you know, you will love sailing through the fjords of Norway as well, because, I mean, one, you're on a Cunard voyage, so that turns heads. When you're sailing through the fjords, they're like wonderful deep gorges and valleys, and they have these tiny little villages on either side of the fjords, and you can see sometimes it's just one little house, it looks like, over there on the hillside. You'll see the waterfalls as well, but you're eye to eye with the scenery. But when you're calling into these smaller fjordland ports as well, everyone turns their head, because this isn't just any cruise ship, this is a Cunard cruise ship as well. And fingers crossed that you've got the best view of the Northern Lights. Make sure you've got something that takes video with you so you can capture the moment. The team on board, I'm sure, will be capturing it for you as well. What I would say to you is, if you've always wanted to do this, secure it today. You've got a deposit opportunity on this package of just $250 each today. The whole package, by the way, let me talk to you about what's included in that. That's the flight from Sydney over to London. You've got 3 nights in a hotel there to enjoy London City, which you will just love at this time of the year. Then that wonderful Cunard voyage on the Queen Victoria, 13 nights heading from iconic Southampton right the way up to Norway, with a nice variety of ports, just perfect for seeing the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights there. There's an overnight in Tromsø, and there's even a double overnight where you spend 3 nights up at one of those northerly ports as well, which is incredible. We end the cruise back in Southampton. We've arranged your transfer from the ship to the airport in London for your flight back to Sydney. As I said, it's low deposit on this one, $250 each today. We'll secure and lock in this price tag, which again is, you have to look 3 times, right? At that kind of price tag, for the distance of travel, the breadth of travel, the quality of your travel as well. You're not cruising here, by the way. We're voyaging with Cunard. It's a very different experience. By day, very low key and casual, yet very sophisticated. Of an evening, of course, it turns round, and that's where everyone gets their finery on, gets down to the ballroom and has a good boogie, and just feels like royalty. Like you've gone from one palace to another on this trip. Here's the upgrade prices on board Queen Victoria as well. So if you want to upgrade to ocean view, to balcony, or could you just imagine for a second, and listen, if you go onto our website at cruiseaway.com.au, you can find out a lot more about what the promise of one of those suites on Queen Victoria would look like, would feel like, would contain. Worth doing the homework and seeing. Remember, you can split the cost of your holiday as well, either 6 ways or 12 ways, into manageable payments very easily with Travel Pay Later. But what I would say to you right now is take advantage of that low deposit opportunity, just $250 each now, to get that locked in, that price, and to know that it's happening. And it's happening at the start of next, well, not even next year, is it? It's 2026. Which is even better to know that that was coming. Call us right now, 1300 408 764, and remember that that call is toll free. It's not going to cost you a red cent.
No. What amazing itineraries are on the horizon.
I know. We have to leave it there. We have peaked in this show, haven't we? We definitely have. We've left you with lots of choices.
All I can say is the future is full of colour. And yes, it could be coming to you very soon, that colourful, amazing sky.
Every colour of the rainbow.
Yes.
You lucky people. Listen, Joe and I are here every day on Gecko, 10 o'clock in the morning, 1 and 4 in the afternoon. We've always got new and inspiring ideas for your next cruise holiday. So come back soon.
See you soon.